what you doing?
Oh,
Oh, we live,
we
baby.
live.
I just like we just starting the thing, so I was letting you know. Oh, we're gonna be on for about an hour anyway, so we good. All right, we at? Oh, all right,
Give me a minute. I'm trying to post that we're live.
girl, you can't do. I can't. Obviously, I can't because Facebook freaking stupid.
Babe mad at Facebook because he already know you can't say certain things on Facebook, and he did. But so he mad. Yeah, I have to excuse the way that I look because we just got came back from the gym. That's why we're running late. Um and it's been a long day because we had all kind of stuff that we were trying to get
You
done
should say
today.
I can't start or join calls and you can't use groups.
Oh, so his Facebook has been restricted.
And it's been restricted because somebody posted a
You
picture
was
of
being
women.
mean, baby.
I was to women that nobody knows. I was posting somebody posted a picture of four women in a group and dude talking about oh she bad this that and the third and the women was women in prison and I was like man she ugly and they're gonna block me for some people that's in prison that nobody know. Stupid Facebook retarded.
Hey, don't use that word. You can get us booed out again. But anyway, so he can't post anything, so he's mad, so he's looking at it. But anyway, we were supposed to talk today about the book, Becoming Married, Staying Married. There's a chapter that's going to be really interesting, that talks about like the history of African American relationships. And so we've been talking about that a lot lately, and so that's what that chapter addressed. So it'd been awesome to kind of do that, but because Babe was busy fishing and stuff like that, he didn't read the chapter. So we'll talk about that next week. But we did have um an anonymous what
Person.
person that wanted to discuss an issue, and they asked us to present it to everyone. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to discuss that issue and see where we go from there. So
Oh maybe I can
you
share
want
it.
to
You
talk about
did
what the
share it.
issue is?
Oh it is shared. You shared it on my page.
Yeah, you
Okay.
want to know what the issue is? You want to talk about the issue?
The title
Sexual
sexual
frustration.
frustration. Oh no, let me put my hat back on. Hair frustration.
We
How
just
about
came
that?
back from the gym, so y'all
No,
gotta excuse us.
I ain't combing my hair. But anyway, so I got this call, and it's something that Zarana and I have talked about before with one another, and I think it's a very interesting conversation. So this individual is frustrated with their significant other sexually wise. Um, she's basically always satisfying him. She's and he's not reciprocating the same satisfaction. When she's, I guess, we about to be grown here. When she's on her cycle, uh, I guess he don't want to have sex while she's on a cycle, and she always gives him head. But even when she's not on a cycle, he never returned the favor, and she likes that. And he don't seem to understand. Uh, you can explain it better than me. He don't seem to understand what it takes to please his woman, and that's what it boils down to. Because uh, we all as men, and I don't care. I ain't gonna say all men, but for the most part, women. It takes us longer to get. It takes us quicker to get there than it takes women. And a lot of times we were, and I'm guilty of it too. So I'm not trying to act like I'm not. And I'm Superman. And no, I'm saying I'm not trying to act like I'm Superman. But a
Oh,
lot of times we as men will get us and we'll roll over, right? And be it, and leave the woman sexually frustrated. And she's very frustrated to the point where she wants to break up with her boyfriend, fiance, whatever it is. So we just want to talk about that a little bit. What I was trying to explain to her earlier today, with us men, it has a lot to do with ego. And fellas, I'm sorry, I'm gonna tell on y'all. I'm gonna tell on us. A lot of times that Women, ladies, y'all have heard this 1,000 times. I haven't met a woman that hasn't heard it. Ooh, that's too good. Ooh, it's so good. That's the reason I orgasm so quick, or it's been a while. I normally don't do this, or what's the other excuse we use? I don't know. We come up with 1,000 excuses because we're embarrassed because we came so quick, right? And what happens is women will get an attitude, and then we get mad because we're embarrassed. We get mad because you're mad, and it's never a resolution. So, baby, go ahead, talk. Come on, man.
You was talking from the man's point of view.
Well, from the male's perspective, that's what it is. I told her that, somebody has to. I said, what a woman should do, and it shouldn't always be on a woman. I understand that. I understand that 110%. So, but if a woman did this to a man, if like he does that, he rolls over, she go over there and try to play with him, get him sexually aroused, suck on it, lick on it, kiss on him, this, that, and the third. And if he rejects that, at that point, she's done everything she could, and the attitude that she has should be bigger than the one she had from not being satisfied, because she tried to get him aroused. She tried to get him, ready to start back up. Mm-hmm. And if he just lays there and quit and gives out, then hey, she has every right to be super duper duper mad. She has every right to be mad anyway. But if we're laying there embarrassed or whatever and making all these excuses, somebody got to do something. I get it. Why does it have to be the woman? I know.
Yeah, why does it have to be the woman?
Because if it don't be the woman, and again, our egos, that's never going anywhere. For whatever reason, it's never going anywhere. I don't suffer from those problems as much. She's been comfortable. I mean, first of all, let's slow down first of all now. I ain't trying to act like I'm just a 2-minute man every single time, but sometimes, a lot of times it happens. But she's made me comfortable with other things so I can put my ego to the side. It took work getting there, but she made me comfortable with doing other things to get her where she need to be. And I just think that a lot of women should try to help their man get comfortable, but we do have to put our egos to the side.
I think one of the first things I told when we discussed this, because we discussed it a while back, even early on in our relationship, and I always told Jermaine, one of the things I said, like, women don't like selfish lovers, meaning the issue that a lot of women have are when it's because when a man just is all about getting his and doesn't even care about pleasing his woman. And that's selfish. Like if you know that, you reach your climax or you orgasm quickly, then
there's unfiltered mouth. You bust a nut quick.
There's a lot of things that you should do, or there's plenty of things that you can do to make your partner enjoy the sexual intimacy before you get there. So if you know that that's something that's going to happen, why are you immediately going to penetration instead of doing other things first? And that's the issue. The issue is that a lot of women feel like men don't take the time to even show them that they are desiring them, as opposed to just trying to get off. And so that's a huge issue. That's a big issue. And it's one that a lot of women have dealt with. Jermaine has always talked about like the focus on size and all this stuff. I'm like, really, at the end of the day, like you can have all the women in the world talk about size, talking about they gotta have this, they gotta have that. But at the end of the day, what a woman wants is a man that is not going to be a selfish lover. What a woman wants is a man that is going to treat her with regards to sexual intimacy as though he desires her. What a woman wants is a man that's going to sometimes take his time with her and explore her body. And if he does all of these things, I can guarantee you that the size becomes less significant.
I still have, so again, with the size, it's an ego thing. With everything she just said, the size may be less significant. So okay, let me do this. Let me ask a question. So if all that is in place, you trying to tell me a woman is going to be okay if she still don't come? If all of that is in place that you're saying,
I'm saying if all that in place, she probably is gonna come. And then even at times when she don't,
that for me, even with me, that's hard for me to believe.
and then even at times where she don't, she's not going to be that as upset about it, because for her, for a lot of women, it's the whole act. It's not just the orgasm, it's the entire act, sexual ritual, whatever you want to call it. It's that it's in its entirety that they're looking for. If you can make a woman feel really loved and sensual and everything else, sometimes, yeah, the woman may not orgasm. Everyone knows that it takes women take longer to orgasm than men do. People know that. That's not anything unfamiliar. But sometimes if the whole act in itself in its entirety is sensual and is pleasing to her, it may be times where she's like, okay, it doesn't bother her that she didn't come necessarily.
Well, so then wouldn't you still be sexually frustrated? So when you say sexually frustrated, is it because of the time restraint on it, or because you didn't come?
No, I think the sexual frustration comes from not from the time, not from the fact that you didn't come, but from the lack of a woman feeling as though someone was trying to please her. That's the thing, because you can please a woman without them. You can please people without them reaching an orgasm. So that's just one aspect of the whole sexual.
So then my question becomes, then okay, so we're gonna get in. Boy, we about to get into it. So then my question becomes, and I'm dead serious. Like, these are questions I haven't asked you before. Then my question becomes, so if you saying you're sexually frustrated, and I do everything that you just named, and you don't have an orgasm, you mean to tell me you ain't gonna reach over there and grab a vibrator or something, touch yourself, and make yourself have an orgasm?
Not every time, no.
Why any of the time?
Because
if that's enough,
okay,
why if all of that is in place? Why any of the time? No,
like I explained to you before, sometimes not. What I was saying was that people will not have to always have an orgasm. That's what I told you. I specifically told you before. I was like, okay, dude, like if I'm the one probably initiating the act, I probably at that point want a release, right? So I do want that cathartic orgasm. But if it's just like something that's happening because whatever was decided that we want to have sex, it's not the orgasm itself is not necessarily the goal at that point. It's the closeness, the intimacy, the pleasure, the feeling like the sensuality of it. All of that is what's happening. And so the orgasm is not necessarily important.
So then I say again, I'm a little bit confused. I'm a little bit confused on the frustration part. I don't understand how that makes how that's not being frustrated.
Baby, because why do you I don't know how to answer that though.
All right, anyway.
Why do you feel like such sexual frustration is dealing with just the orgasm though? That's what I'm saying.
Because isn't that so then it
Okay, sexual frustration describes feelings of distress and agitation that arise from sexual dissatisfaction or the inability to fulfill the sexual arousal they experience. It doesn't have anything necessarily to do with orgasm.
Okay.
There may be a discrepancy in the amount and quality of the sexual activity a person is having compared to what they desire. If I'm not desiring an orgasm then that's that. Why would that lead to sexual frustration? It's not going to.
Well, okay, so the individual that we talking about, they were telling me, they were saying that, well, I want a nut, I want to come, this, that, and the third. So that frustration that individual was saying it sounded like to me is because the frustration came because they wanted to orgasm.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm saying to you again is, yes, sometimes it may come from that, but that's not all the time. That's not necessarily the only thing that causes sexual frustration. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. That's just hard for me to comprehend. And
I don't know why we had this discussion for forever, and he continues to say that it's hard for him to comprehend. I've had
because it's hard for me to
it's
comprehend.
not, and the thing is, there's been other women that have said the exact same thing. Like, okay, look, we ain't always looking to orgasm necessarily. It's just like it's the whole act in its entirety. It's the whole act in its entirety.
Okay, I'm. So you trying to tell me the majority of women feel like that? That's what you're trying to say?
I'm saying there's a lot of women that feel like that. Not the I don't know if it's the majority or not. I'm saying there's a lot of women that feel like that. The consensus, and when I've looked at different groups, when I looked at different studies, was that women consider, they attribute whether or not they're satisfied sexually with the entire sexual. They're not like men. Men, I guess y'all think about whether or not y'all came or not, and that's to y'all whether or not. Women are not like that. Women are looking at the entire act. Are you kissing on their thighs? Are you rubbing, you putting your tongue in their ear, kissing on their neck, and fondling their nipples and stuff like that? That's what women are looking at. They're looking at all of that.
Yeah, be sorry, man. We talking, man. We talking.
If I'm saying women are talking about, that's what they're looking at, all of those things.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to find somebody.
I mean, so I looked at this thing that talked about signs of sexual frustration, and it said signs of sexual frustration. It's kind of like that show we were watching. We were watching this series called Sex Life,
which is pretty good.
It was really good. So if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's had 2 seasons, and I think they're it's off now, but it was 2 seasons. Very good show. Jermaine didn't see it from the beginning. I watched it from the very beginning, but it's about this lady who was like really, really, I don't want to say, I kind of want to say wild. She was wild, promiscuous, in college and everything. Had a lot of different sexual experiences. Met this guy that was kind of toxic at the time she met him. Like they had like a really toxic relationship, kind of this, him breaking up, they getting back together and blah, blah. I guess he had a lot of issues from childhood or whatever. But she ended up marrying this kind of guy that was on, what you call him, like a straight and narrow dude, right? And she ended up marrying him. And they were married for what? It was a little while, right? They were married for a little while. And then it starts off talking about how sexually frustrated she is with the guy that she's with. But she also talks about how much she loves him. Yeah, sex life. And she's also talking about how much she loves him, and how much she, like, when they die, she wants their souls to meet, in the afterlife and still be together. So
yeah, you can tell she's in love with him.
You can tell she's in love with him.
No, you can't.
But what happens is that she started exhibiting signs of sexual frustration. So like this list talks about the signs of sexual frustration. Frequently fantasizing about sex, tension or irritability, engaging in unhealthy coping skills, aggression, compulsive or hypersexual behaviors, seeking revenge against targets that are believed the source of the frustration, displaced frustration on targets with no connection to the frustration, hypertension for women, and depression or anxiety for men. So those are the signs of sex. And that's exactly what she started doing. She started fantasizing about the guy who she used to be with that was toxic, and how he used to do her, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the thing is, it showed like how her and her husband was like when they initially met. The sex seemed like it was great. And then what happened was that as they got into this routine of marriage and they had kids, I think she started not feeling as sexy. And then like when he would have sex with her, he'd be like trying to watch the football game while he having sex with her. It was just like stuff like that. It made her feel really like I think it made her feel like she wasn't that he wasn't attracted to her. And so that became an issue. And so it continues with her and this fantasizing about this other guy, and the husband of course finds out that she's fantasizing, and just
but hold on, let's go back to that though.
But don't tell everybody. I don't want to spoil it though.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying that. What I'm saying is the fantasies that she was having, it wasn't about him taking her on dates and all of this.
It was sexual frustration, definitely.
It was Yeah, but it ruined their marriage because all she wanted was to have sex with them.
Sexual frustration, frequently fantasizing about sex. That's a sign. Engaging in unhealthy coping skills.
Nigga, you be fantasizing about fucking other niggas. I mean, having sex with other dudes.
No, but I'm saying that's a sign of sexual frustration.
That's a sign of disrespect, frustration.
Whatever. It's a sign. That's your ego.
But still, no, ain't no ego, because still, if you're sitting there, okay, you can be sexually frustrated. I don't subscribe to that at all. You can be sexually frustrated, but if you sitting there thinking about how your ex used to do you because you're sexually frustrated, then you might as well go be with him. I say you, I'm talking about in general, because at that point it's it becomes disrespectful. So
okay, but it ain't disrespectful that your partner is not pleasing you.
No, it ain't disrespect. That's life. But you thinking about how somebody else.
It seems selfish to me.
It's definitely selfish.
Okay.
And so the act. This is why I said add her.
Okay.
The act. So this is what, now we agree on this part. It's definitely selfish. Men are definitely selfish lovers. All right. But again, it goes back to the embarrassment of it. It goes back to wanting to look like you're Superman and everything else. We have to break our egos down. And as many shows that we do, you always hear me talk about egos and selflessness. And but however, we have to break our egos down and realize that you love that person unconditionally and you want them to be happy. And this goes for men and women. And if you have to be willing to do whatever it takes to make that person happy and to satisfy them. So the conversation need to start. I would have never got comfortable with any other things. Nobody else that I've been with, I got comfortable with doing the things that was asked of me that you asked me to do. And you made me comfortable. You unintentionally stroked my ego, which I don't think that women should have to do that. But by stroking my ego and making me feel comfortable, it opened me up to trying those things that I wouldn't ordinarily have tried.
Right.
So first of all, us men have to get out of our way. I do believe, again, it shouldn't be put all on the women, but I also think that the woman, if she makes her partner, knowing what I just said, if she makes her partner comfortable, then he could come out of that egotistical zone that he's in and begin to try.
But yeah, but a lot of that is not us not making y'all comfortable. Like you have a more of an open mindset than people.
But right? I'm saying, but I think we will. I'm sorry.
You have more of an open mindset, so it's a lot easier to kind of discuss things with you. And even though they made you feel a certain way, you were more open to trying to understand where I was coming from. Right? Not everyone is like that. So like you can actually try to make you're not doing anything to make them uncomfortable, and you can try to tell them, hey, this is not my concern, and then because of ego they still won't accept it. They have to be able to receive it.
So with that, okay, absolutely, I agree with you 110%. So with that, then that's when I think the you should, okay, if I hate to say it because I don't like talking negativity, but then you should worry, you should try to find an exit strategy then. Because if somebody is not willing to put their ego, and I had to learn this with you, is not willing to put their ego aside, they can say I love you all they want to, but you're not loving that person. Who said that? You're loving that person how you want to love them, yeah, and not how they need to be loved.
Right.
So that's selfishness. And again, you need to be selfless to be able to do that. And if a man can't be selfless and say by saying I'm going to do this for you, I mean, now if you trying to tell me you want me to put on a strap on and put some peanut butter on and shit like that, I ain't doing all that. Like I'm not going to do all that. But on the same token, in a woman too, but since we're talking about the individual, the anonymous person, her man should learn how to be selfless more if he really wants. to be with her forever and try to make her happy.
Somebody asked a question one time in the group, and they was like, "What happened to foreplay?" And I'm like, I don't know, because this is the thing. Men already know. Like I said, this is nothing new that women. It takes women a longer time to get somewhere, right? So it's not the issue of because men come quick and blah blah blah. It's not that. But if you know this, and if you're in tune with your woman, and you want to actually satisfy your woman, and you're not just thinking about yourself, why aren't men taking that time to engage in that foreplay?
I can tell you
why aren't they taking the time to explore their woman's body? Why aren't they taking the time to touch them in ways that they haven't been touched before? You know, why aren't they doing that? Like, it's just like most of the time people just want to just get in and
I'm guilty, and I'm still guilty of that. Like last night, but you were asleep too.
You know,
I'm guilty of that as well. You try to get in and get out, but no, I can tell you why though, because of how the world have changed. Mm-hmm. So I've said this years and years ago, and I'll say it again. Sex is so easy to obtain. It is just sex, because sex is so easy to obtain. Love get lost. Mm-hmm. Those doing the foreplay and things like that are signs of I love you, I'm into you, I want to satisfy you. We got Sexy Red and all of these other people out here talking about popping. Man, I'm cursing. Popping pussy and doing all of this other stuff. And the generations has changed. And love it's the same thing with marriage. People popping out kids left and right that's not married, right? Mm-hmm. Love is getting pushed to the back now. Mm-hmm. Love is getting pushed to the back. So when you love somebody, you're gonna do those little things like stuff like that, and but seriously, so nobody is teaching people, nobody is loving and don't know how to love people correctly, and parents are not teaching their kids to love people correctly, and so the love gets lost,
right?
And so with the love getting lost, the foreplay gets lost. It's all about turn around, let me do this, ride it, suck it, eat it.
It's not just the love though, and I agree, Larry. I think that, like you said, I said it to Jermaine earlier. I said, them people that are like that, they really don't need to be in a relationship, because like, why are you even in a relationship with someone if you can't put yourself aside? And then I also agree that some women don't do foreplay. I will try to do foreplay with Jermaine.
Right, Larry.
And people don't love. I think what's happened is that people don't understand what love is, because there's no good examples hardly that's being shown in society. So they don't know. They may think they're loving someone, but they don't know what love is. I think the other aspect of that is that we as a people, and y'all can roll with this or not, but I have read studies that talk about like when people have a lot of sex partners and how having those sex partners kind of water down that bond that you would normally have with a person had you not had a lot of sex partners. I think people are becoming desensitized too to the whole sexual act and the beauty of the sexual act and what it was actually created for. So people have become so desensitized to that now it is just looked at as sex, when it's actually much more than that. It's all about connection.
It
was created, that intimacy was created so that it's a place that two people can go to, and there still be some type of, and it helped glue your relationship. So like, you have things that glue relationships and marriages together. The sexual intimacy is one of them.
So I'm one of those people that I think have been desensitized to an extent as far as what she's talking about. But what makes it work with us is because while I was desensitized, I really never knew how to appropriately love a woman. So in this experience of me daily learning how to love you, while I may be desensitized to a lot of things when it comes to sex, like for me, if I'm mad at you, you already know how I feel. I'm mad. Don't touch me, get away from me. I don't want to have sex, whatever. But versus with you, if you're mad, you need that touch or want that touch to, make it feel like I'm still here, this, that, and the third. Well, I'm okay with that because I love you, right? I don't have that. It doesn't make me feel connected to you from the stance of because we're having sex, the connection that I have is okay. I know this is what she needs, and I love her that much to let her know to do this, to let her know, okay, I'm still attracted, I'm still here, we're still good. So it's not necessarily the act for me, and I'll do it for a separate reason, but it's
still a connection though.
But the connection is on the love thing.
But it's still a connection
that brings you
right.
It's a different connection than what you said, but yeah.
But it's still one though. It doesn't matter what the connection it is that it inspires or that it strengthens, long as it does that. And that's what the whole point of that sexual intimacy, or that one of the reasons why it was created like that anyway. And so I think we've been so desensitized because we're running around just having all these sexual partners. I don't even know if people, not to be funny, if some people after a certain amount of time can even feel the things that they should feel from a touch by the person that they love, because they have been so desensitized. So I don't know if in some of these cases, if you've got a partner, don't feel like when you touch me, I get chills. I don't know how other people, but because I love you so much.
You said be cold in the room.
No, shut up. No, I know. But I'm just saying, like, stuff like that. And I don't even know if people are that in tune with each other anymore either, because of the fact that they're just so used to just having sex with random people and any and everybody. So it's really hard to then once you've been out there like that, understand that, okay, part of this sexual ritual or the sex in its entirety means I'm supposed to take my time with my partner. I need to be exploring my partner. I need to be doing this, and everybody ain't got to suck toes to explore it. That's not what we're saying.
That's what it takes for you to be sexually satisfied. You're gonna be a frustrated ass the rest of our life,
or anything like that. But it's just different things. If you know what your partner like, and you know they be like being touched a certain way, and you know, like certain areas kissed, why aren't people taking their time and doing that to their partners?
Okay, well, I mean,
there's reason why we have whipped cream in our refrigerator and cherries.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever done that too.
And fruit roll-ups. I mean,
well, you ain't use those.
I didn't get a chance, but I used them before.
Not on me, you didn't. Wait a minute. Hey, we about to end this live. So you been sucking with fruit roll-up? You ain't never done that.
Yes, I did. Because
you
wrong
like, nigga.
Sticky.
Wrong individual.
Same time you did the breath
we about to have them all. The breath mints. What no breath mints? What the hell? Whoa!
Jermaine,
boy, this is
Jermaine,
this ain't. No, I don't forget nothing. I've never seen no fruit roll-up on me ever, and I've never used the breath mint.
You was complaining about.
I've never used the breath mint.
Don't listen to him, Jermaine.
What the hell? Boy, you see what I'm talking about? You going back to sex life? What?
It's not from too much. Meaningless. I don't like people touching me. It's not from too much. Yeah, and that's understandable too. That some people are like that, but
roll-ups.
But some people want. Stop it. I just don't do that. But some people want that. Some people desire that. It's all about knowing your partner, and especially if you know your partner's love language. Because there are some people that don't like to be touched, right? Their love language is not any type of physical touch. People hugging them and everything else is cringeworthy to them. And so that's completely understood. So like one of the things that people don't do anymore is they don't understand their partner's love language. If your partner's love language is physical touch, right? And that's one of mine. If your partner, why aren't you engaging in physical touch with your partner when you make love to them? Sensual physical touch when you make love, because you should know that that's gonna bring them to where they need to be.
You don't hear my answer. I was about to say something stupid. That's interesting though. So if you're with somebody and you don't like to be touched like that, I would think that you would have to find somebody that's similar. Is not really like to be touched, because those were things come in, like problems arise as well. Because if she doesn't like to be touched and if somebody is touchy-feely and all of that, now he's gonna feel like you don't appreciate what he's doing, and you're gonna be like, I just don't want you touching me. I'm not into that, and that could cause a friction too. That's interesting. I never actually heard of seeing.
Yeah, there are some people that I got.
So it comes
that's like that.
That's it. So then it comes down to a lot of times being sexual compatible as well, because I told you and I had this discussion. If me personally, I can go without sex. I don't need sex like that, and that's because again, being desensitized doesn't mean I don't love having sex with her or making love, whatever you want to call it, with her. It's just that it's not my high priority because I didn't had so much sex in my life. Like it's like whatever. I just want a woman that's going to respect me, that I ain't got to worry about cheating on me, and I know to have my back. And I mean other things as well, but those, and don't smoke and stuff like that. But those are my criterias. And an overall good person with great morals for wanting a spouse. If sex and money is one of the biggest things on somebody's list, then they should make sure that they're dating somebody that those things are on their list as well. Because you couldn't date a person like me and think that I'm just gonna have sex with you all the time, and that's what made that whatever. You can't date a person like me talking about you want money, and I don't really want to kick out no money. You know what I mean? So, I think people need to make, like Larry said earlier, you need to make things communicate and let people know from the jump versus going 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months, years, and then it becomes an issue because a lot of these problems can be rectified within the first 2 months of something, just by, as Larry said, talking, communicating. The individual that we were speaking of, she said something that I didn't know. She said it's been 4 years of this, and what happens is now, women, ladies, when you don't speak up as well, it turns into 4 years of this, and then you throw all that at us, and we're like, 4 years? What the hell? Like, you just started complaining about this 3 days ago. And you talking about 4 years. I'm thinking I'm beating it up the last 4 years. I had no earthly idea. So I would say within the first couple months, if you see that that's a problem, then, when I say first couple months, depending on how long it's been since you started having sex with somebody. You met him yesterday and how I started having sex with him, and a couple months come by, yeah. But after y'all started exploring one another sexually, that if that's that high on your list, you can like everything else that they do, and you think that you can handle not being satisfied sexually, but because sex is that important to you, that's going to cause so many other problems down the line. Many other problems down the line. So that should be addressed your first, whatever quarter of having sex with somebody. That's how I look at that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I don't encourage everybody to be having sex with people.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But if you get started and you talking about and you think that you're gonna be with this person,
but I don't think it's something that should be. I think it's something that should be talked about in relationships. But I think that, for real, in my opinion, nowadays when people start dating and stuff, because there's such a history of everybody coming with baggage and trauma and everything from their past, it's not even a bad idea to start some type of couples counseling if you know you guys are gonna be serious. And with that, there's nothing wrong with sex therapists. Like a sex therapist, I used to watch. I watched this show, Real Sex.
I don't know if I don't know if I could do that one yet. It'd take a lot more work.
But look, though, it's not what you think. Because I watched the show that HBO used to have, that show Real Sex.
Yeah, I used to watch that too because I was a pervert.
And then one episode or a few episodes was about these people going into sex therapists, and the sex therapist actually showed like her sessions with them, because these people were having like all these issues with sex. Some was because the girl's libido was way high and the guy's was way low and different things. But the sex therapist actually was able to give these people, seemed like some of these people were like totally not compatible sexually. But once the sex therapist came in and said, no, this is how you deal with this. If this person has a high libido and you have a low libido, this is how it's a compromise. Your relationships are always about compromise. This is what you do. When you're in the mood for, when your libido is high or is at a certain level, you put it on this chart like here, and then your partner comes and put where their libido is at that moment. And those like simple things like that was helping couples to get to the point where they're like, okay, because what was happening was like some of these people was thinking like, oh, well, he's not attracted to me because he doesn't want to have sex.
I need you to put that in nigga terms. So you trying to tell me when you're horny, and it's on 10, and if I'm on one, I have to go to a board and put one, and you put 10.
That's what they did for this
So,
particular
but how?
couple.
Okay, but so how that was supposed to help?
Because it was helping them to be able to read each other instead of the woman thinking like, oh, he's not attracted to me. She was understanding, no, his libido was low right now.
So it's similar to the conversation we had earlier that I was telling you about. Okay.
Right. So it was that type of thing. And it was like just these simple techniques that she was giving them to put in place that was actually saving whole relationships and making their sex life like that much better. It's sometimes just a simple conversation. Like when we have conversation, initially it would seem like we like some of the most incompatible sexual people there are, you know, that in a relationship. But when you start having those conversations and you start understanding each other, it's like, okay, yeah, I can give on this. I can give on that. I can give on this, blah, blah, blah. You end up being more sexually compatible than you thought you were.
Yeah. Well, I just wasn't with the take my big toe and stick it in your ear with jelly on it when you asked me that time. I wasn't about to do that.
I never asked you no such thing.
Words of affirmation. Yeah, I'm not really a words of affirmation type of guy either. I mean, if you say, hey, I'm proud of you for doing that, then okay, I appreciate it. Like that doesn't make me. What is my love language, you think?
Gifts.
You think giving is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right. No, I'm talking about for me, not accepting, but for me giving. You think that's my love language?
Giving and accepting.
I don't really care about gifts like that.
Yeah,
I don't. I didn't start that until you start buying me stuff.
You do more than he. Yeah, he does more than he wants.
Yeah, it's because she want to buy me everything. As long as you bought me $2K, that's all.
That's my baby's love language.
But yeah, I just like again going back to the original thing. Like we as men, egos, man. Oh my God, I don't know how many times I can say this. We have to get our egos in control. If we take the time to actually work on that part of us, it may be a lot less violence in the world. For as far as males, and is this everything? All this is controlled by egos.
Yeah, a lot of it is.
It's controlled by egos, and it's hard. I still have an ego. Like I told her yesterday when we were talking to the individual about what was going on in their relationship, and I said to her, yeah, hey man, look, whatever, you can't hurt my ego like that no more because I understand you made me confident and da 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 da. And then she said something, and boy, I got upset. I didn't get upset, but I got in my feelings. Is what happened. I was like, well, damn, I thought I had my ego to the point that I had to walk downstairs.
Yeah, all of a sudden he was like, I'm gonna go feed the dog. I'm like, huh? Like we're in the middle of a discussion.
Yeah, like, right.
Like, go feed the dog.
And it was because of my ego. My little feelings had got hurt. And I think that I may be a lot more reasonable than the average man when it comes to that. I was just telling her if I with what I have become now, if I go around my friends and talk how I'm talking now, they be like, who is this dude? Dude, you pee-whooped, or dude, you crazy, or dude, you ain't really like that, or whatever the case may be, right? Because I've changed my mindset all the way around and it's still evolving. But it's because, again, of her and me loving her and wanting to love her correctly. Whatever that looks like, I'm still trying to figure it out. That's not a bad thing. We're 2 years down and eternity to go. Whatever corners I got to go to, desk I got to look under, cars I got to go, whatever it is to make it work, to not try to have her sexually frustrated or frustrated in any manner, I'm willing to do. And you just, as a man, you just have to be willing, anybody, men and women, but
have to be willing.
You have to be willing. That's what we had a discussion before. Marriages and relationships are not hard. It's the things of the compromise and changing. It is integrating two lives and trying to compromise and make y'all one to see the same vision. That could be difficult. The marriage itself is not hard. The marriage become hard, like I said to you earlier, if I'm in this person inbox or I'm talking to this woman or you're talking to this guy or this, that, and the third. So while I'm trying to figure you out and we're trying to figure one another out, you got those outside things that's unnecessary that may keep a wall up from either of us to be able to get to that one place. And that's what happens a lot. Now, this is the me talking now. if I heard somebody say what a man say what I just said back then, I'm like, dude, you crazy as hell. You just trying to get some attention. Or you just trying to get like but it's a realistic thing. It's a realistic thing. So
Yeah, and I think the one of the other issues with this whole sexual thing is, again, we have this society, we've been raised in this patriarchal society, y'all, and so it's almost like women, the concept was that women are supposed to please men, and there's no emphasis put on the fact that it should be reciprocated, and it should be going both ways. So the pleasing should be the man pleasing the woman pleasing the man. But even right now today, I mean, if you think about it, look at different posts on Facebook. You'll see them constantly. Even today, people saying, "Oh, you never leave your man horny." Blah blah blah. That's why he cheat. Always, even if you're tired, you're supposed to be giving your man sex. It's like all this focus on. Someone just posted something, and that's one of the comments I put on. I said, "Why is the focus on the man?" I said, "Both partners should be doing what they need to do to satisfy each other. Like, why are we focusing on the man being satisfied? That doesn't make sense." And so it's that too that people are trying to combat. And it's when people have been raised and you've learned that throughout your life as a little boy and then growing up into manhood, that your purpose was to be pleased as opposed to pleasing other people. It's a very hard thing to overcome. But one of the ways that you do is by communication. And when I say communication, it's like, it's not just one person talking. It's listening, is receiving what's being said to you, is trying to understand it, trying to accept it, is perception checking, making sure you're clear on what's being said to you, is that type of dialogue. Because that's why communication is important.
And what happens with that, again, I'm gonna say it again, egos. What happened with that is if your woman, your wife, your partner, especially if y'all been together a while, if she comes to you and say, I wish you would do this, or can you try this, or can you do this? And your response shouldn't be, well, damn, I'm putting it down, or I'm doing this, or that's not an attack, or we shouldn't take it as an attack on our egos, right? You should take it as, she's not saying that she don't like having sex with you, that you didn't necessarily do a good job. Maybe she wants you to put her ass on the ceiling or something, and it's just something that she wants to do. You have to be open to doing it. It's some things that she asked me to do. I'm like, man, I'm not doing that. And I ended up doing it. Why? Because at the end of the day, here's the thing. This is the other part with it. With our egos, if we don't do it, and this is what the individual said too. If we don't do it, we automatically gonna think that she gonna go out there and let somebody else do it. So guess what happens? You didn't let another problem that don't have to be a problem or another issue creep into your relationship or marriage when you can rectify that just by putting your ego to the side. Like, she want me to stick my finger right here. Look, it's right there. Bow. She want me to do this right here. It's right. Look at them arms, boy. That gym is working.
But at the same time, the compromise is that you should know your partner, and you should know that if you're in the relationship for the right reason, that yes, some of the things your partner may come to you may hurt you, but you should know that they're not intentionally trying to hurt you. And then at the same token,
I'm sorry, baby. I apologize. Mm-hmm. Again, guys, I'm not trying to tell y'all that I'm Mr. Perfect, that I don't have any of these issues, because I battle them just like the typical man. It's just that I'm more receptive mm-hmm. of what she has to say, and that's what you have to be. Sorry,
right.
Let me cut you off.
And no, and then also realize it's give or take. I understand that women, it's not like you can expect, for a man to just give when it comes to sex and not be compromising in any type of way. There are certain things that you may have to give a little bit on. Okay, well, I'm not going to traumatize you if it's going to be traumatic for you to do this, and then that's fine. But let's figure something else out. So it's all about the compromise. But I think if long as two people are really trying to work together and get to a middle ground and say, yeah, okay, I can deal with that, and another person, yeah, okay, I can deal with that, then you're good. You're all good.
Yeah. And again, you know what? I want to talk about that patriarchy thing too. This is gonna sound weird because I agree with a lot of what you say, and what we discuss. It The more and more we talk, and the more and more I think and stuff, we as men do feel entitled to certain things, and like it's supposed to be this way. But I've said this to you. We It's sort of like how people take the Bible and try to take what parts out of the Bible and make it fit into their life.
Mhm.
So people try to take what our grandmothers and grandfathers did from the old days and put it into their life where they see fit. Um, and that becomes an issue when it comes to a lot of things. For instance, like you were talking about, how they always talk about men need to be pleased, and that's true. You can go through the internet all day long and see
Mhm.
people talking about don't do your man like this. And I mean, I know they got the women that the men that do it too, but don't do your man like this. Don't leave him like this, that, and the third. I personally haven't seen any videos pop up in my timeline talking about women being sexually frustrated. But
Mhm.
I will see videos all the time talking about, girl, don't leave your man like this. You feed your man, you do this, that, and the third. Da, 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 da. That's how you keep a happy man. You see those videos all day long, but you don't see women, or you don't see videos about how to please a woman sexually. And I'm not talking about just by putting it in and humping and pumping, right? And those videos are not there. I just seen a video the other day where it was talking about what the hell? I forgot just that quick. It was talking about what the hell was it talking about? I showed it to you.
Mhm.
Oh, the football thing.
Mhm.
Um, Girl, today's Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Give your man this Sunday. It's football Sunday, and this, that, and the third. He been doing this and working and paying the bills and blah 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 blah. It's Sunday, and then better yet, don't even mess with him Monday because he don't watch football Monday and blah 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 blah. It's all about the man, right? Just because it's Sunday and it's football, I like football too, but I'm not gonna put a bunch of millionaires running up and down the field, uh, tackling one another, and I know that my wife is missing something from me or needs something from me. So at that point, like to me that's not a good video.
Right.
It's not a good video because at the end of the day, you're still married or you still have a partner that
Mhm.
still needs whatever the emotional things or things from you. If I can watch football all day and she's cool, fine. If I know something is off or feels off, I'm not gonna sit there. Well, I'm watch this game, and after this game, I'll go up there. No, that's not that doesn't work like that. Because even when you stop that, you make her feel. If she know you love football like that, and you come in to rectify a situation, and it could be your team playing, and you come in to rectify the situation. Now, what's more important? What do you think she's gonna think more important? Your relationship and her, or the damn TV? Your team gonna play next week. And she can up and leave your ass today. You can go upstairs and she gone. So you talk to that damn TV. Well, and here go the ego. He go, because I can sit there and tell you what I would have said. Well, if she want to leave because of that, let her go. That's ego. That's ego. Is
Mhm.
it the ego selfishness, or you really don't give a damn about
And that and you hit on that, and that is something that's really important too, because um actually Jermaine did that to me one time. He was early on. you always look at me. You now you're gonna remember what I was talking, because we had like this really heated discussion, and he was getting ready to go on the road, and normally Jermaine, because he had to be there at a certain time, blah blah blah, he would have just took off and left. But he did take the
it.
time to
Oh
kind of
yeah, yeah.
turn around, come all the way back to the house, and look me in the face and talk to me. And that meant the world to me,
Oh yeah.
because it made me feel like, okay, so he values what we have.
And that was
Because
real. And that was real early on.
right.
That was. Go ahead, I'm sorry. I keep
No, go
doing.
ahead.
No, that was just for me. It was like I've done everything wrong in my last marriage and past relationships. Everything that those women had said to me, and even some of my female friends, just strictly platonic friends, had said to me, was ringing in my ear loud. Like, you have to make your woman feel appreciated. You have to not be controlling, which I don't really think I was ever controlling, but you just have to understand and talk to her more and communicate more. So versus me being like, you know what, forget that. I'll talk to her when I get back. I'll figure it out. At that point, my relationship, and I'm talking about, it was super early. I'm talking about like maybe 3 weeks, a month into it. And I was like, no, I like her too much. So I'm going to let her know that this is not what we're going to do. We're not going to leave stuff like this. And I'm not going to just run away from stuff. And no, this is what I meant. This is how it happened. We can't do this. And I mean, you told me that meant something to you. I thought you were talking about I did something wrong. Well, no. We're going to end this right now. I don't do nothing wrong. I'm perfect.
But yeah, then on the same token, when Jermaine's talking about the football, you had me watch the video about the leader, and I was like, well, Jermaine, that's the issue. Like, you don't have any videos saying like, if your wife or your partner, she's in the tub or she's in the shower, make sure the kids aren't bothering her. Make sure she's getting her time to relax. Like, you don't have anything saying that. So it's basically everything is about pleasing. So that's another thing. That's reason why things are so topsy-turvy. And I just hope that people get it together, because you got too many people being married for 20 some years, divorcing, people, relationships failing left and right, breaking up, and all these issues that shouldn't even really be issues, but they're issues because of the bad teachings we got from society, because how society has been established, because of egos, because of pride, because of lack of communication. And my hope is that people just, especially Black people, males and females, just get it together.
So I'm gonna say this, and I want you to say what you always say when I think you know where to go when I say this. In closing, right? We've been talking about what a man should do and what a man shouldn't do, and a man this and a man that. It takes work on both sides. Mm-hmm. But we as men, and the thing that we always parallel with racism, mm-hmm. the conversation that we was having, we as men have to, like, white people have to understand what we as a race have been through, and they shouldn't. The first thing that when we say, hey, well, Black people had to go through this, that, and the third, white people normally say, well, that wasn't me. I didn't do it, and this, that, and the third. I'm not like that, and blah, 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 blah. So the understanding the conversation has to happen for the understanding to begin, and the understanding has to happen before the healing begin. And the problem can be or start being fixed. And it's the same thing with women. Women had to go through so much of y'all not being able to vote, staying at home, being cheated on, and everything else. So when a woman says, and I'm guilty of this too. Again, I'm guilty of a lot of things that I say, but I just understand it, and it's things that I'm trying to work on. When a woman says this bothers, and it goes either way too, though. But when a woman says this bothers me, or I think a man should be like this, or men should do, our first response shouldn't be an attack on them. It's to understand where they're coming from, try to rectify the problem. And if you can not immediately go into attack mode and defense mode and try to get to the get to the root of the problem, and then we can talk about other things. Mm-hmm. Now, if I bring it up first, it's just anything. If you bring it up first, but don't say like these videos out there saying, well, men do this and women do this and yada, 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 yada. Well, damn, look what we've done to them historically this whole time.
Yeah.
So if like it you gotta somebody gotta start somewhere. I just said something to her earlier, right? Just probably about an hour ago, 2 hours, 15 minutes ago too. We was talking about, and women shouldn't have to do this as well. But what she's made me help me become as a man now, if she passes, God forbid, or leave me or whatever the case may be, I'm a better man. So she's helped stop the cycle. But I helped because I was willing to learn and listen. So if we didn't end, which we are, but if we didn't end up together forever, I'm going to be a better man to another woman. I'm not going to be out here perpetuating the same things that I was doing before and adding to the trauma that they already been to. So it all goes back again to ego and wanting to listen and wanting to please your partner.
Yes.
Period. That's
Period.
what for me anyway.
It does.
So
Partners should be falling over each other, trying to please each other. That's what I always say.
and
Like that's how love's supposed to. You're supposed to be falling over each other to make each other happy, falling over each other to please each other, falling over each other to serve each other. Everything. That's what it should be like. That's what it should be like.
And again, we definitely are not perfect.
No,
We
we're
go
not.
through what I ain't gonna say what typical marriage go through because we don't do the cheating shit.
No, we don't go
We
through
don't-
some of that stuff. Them people,
yeah,
that
we
lady was
don't-
like, "Ooh, we been through this." I was like, "Oh
Yeah,
Lord
we-
Jesus, no, I don't want to do all that."
We not going through you talking to him or you talking to her shit because I've told her one time I don't play that cheating shit. I done cheated enough for both of us. Not on her, but in general. I done cheated enough for everybody in this house. And we got a whole lot of people. We got a whole lot of kids. So I'm not gonna tolerate it. I don't want her to tolerate it, but we go through the regular
The growing
situations,
pains.
the growing pains, that's
the
what it
growing
is,
pains
yep.
of marriage. They say it takes
And I
like
love
4
it.
years or something like that.
and
before
I love every moment of it.
yeah,
I love every moment of it.
we
Because
worked through it.
at the end of the day, what happens with me from my standpoint, we had like I'll give y'all something. We had a big argument about it was actually an argument about something to the point where I slept in the car. I was that mad. But as two things, me being in the car, we still was connected in a way because we got this thing with the heat and the air in the house. One of my thought processes was as mad as I was, and I didn't know this until she told me like a couple days later. Well, damn, at least I get to have the air on by me sleeping in the car. And her thought process was,
You probably got the damn air.
right? So now that's funny, but here's the kicker. As mad as we were, guess what? Neither one of us thought. You didn't think I was with another woman, did you?
Mm-mm.
I didn't think you was talking to another man. So those things right there, it seemed little, but that's the biggest thing in the world. So everything else could be worked through. And as I was sitting in that car, what did I come back in the house and tell you? I realized that I can't live my life. I don't want to live my life without her. So whatever it was, we gonna fix it, and we gonna fix it now. And I demanded that. So it's work, and I love it because it makes me anything, as the old saying. So anything worth having is worth what do you say? How's it working for or whatever?
Fighting for?
Yeah, no, I ain't fighting for nothing. We working for it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't believe
know.
in fighting for it. Nah, I ain't-
Roll the sleeve and I don't know.
Yeah,
I
nah,
can't remember
whatever.
them sayings.
So,
I'm old now. My brain not.
but with that being said, I'm about to go get some money.
So anyway, but
I'm gonna read my book. I'm gonna talk to you about maybe doing a quick little thing.
yeah, we may do another
I
one this
actually like
week
the book.
about the book because I think it's going to be really interesting. We've been talking a lot lately about African American relationships and the history of behind them. So I think this is going to be a really good chapter. So
She's already read it, of course.
if he finishes
She's probably finished the book.
if he finishes it, we'll do a special to kind of discuss it because I think it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, we might do that
For
Friday
you.
morning.
Yeah.
But peace, love, Afro Greece, and again, man, this is it's therapeutic for me. I guess for you as well, maybe.
Mhm.
No matter if we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 views or none. I love it's like talking to my wife. I'm talking to the people that's here and the people that came and left and whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm talking to my wife. This is our everyday conversations.
Yeah.
Everyday conversation. It becomes redundant when I have to, because we already had this conversation, and it's like it's better if it's new viewpoints and things that I don't have to regurgitate that I said earlier, because it'd be more raw action.
Mhm.
But on the same token, it's really our feelings and how we feel. I'm not a Derek Jackson guy that want to look like a certain way because I got my flaws. Lord knows I got my flaws, but I work every day to try to fix them. I don't think my wife really had too many flaws.
Whatever, he tripping.
No, I don't. I don't have nothing to complain about except she don't give me head every day.
Y'all see how he's still talking, so he ain't gotta go give me sex before he leaves.
Oh no, I'm not doing that.
Let's see. That's what I'm
You're gonna
saying.
be frustrated tonight. You're gonna be frustrated tonight. I'm not doing that. You give me some, I'm going straight to sleep.
No.
No.
You can't tell me no.
All right,
That's
well,
not compromise.
all right, well, the compromise is we do that. I'm going directly to sleep. You got that pussy quill.
You know what? See, you and your language.
That's whatever. That's what does it say that put you to sleep, ease your pain medicine.
Let's see y'all next time.
Peace, love, and Afro Greece.
Bye bye.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah,